Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 16 for October 15th, 2012. I'm back once again.
Yay.
Last weekend was Canadian Thanksgiving, so I was away.
Oh, that's what it was. All right.
Yeah, I know. I listened to the podcast and you realize he's doing some sort of Canadian It's not like it's Thanksgiving or anything like
Well,
that.
come on,
Thanks.
none of us here are from Canada.
It's in like the wrong month. What do you expect me? I don't
Wrong month.
I'm just
Okay,
American.
I'm gonna go on a tangent for a second because I'm sick and tired of hearing that it's the wrong Thanksgiving. I will murder people because the internet is made up of, the majority of people are from the United States. Okay, I'm from Canada. We have Thanksgiving in different months. October in Canada, November in the United States because they're dumb. I like to point out that Canadian Thanksgiving came first.
I'd like to point out that
So,
all Thanksgiving is stupid.
But what do you do on Canadian Thanksgiving?
The same thing you do on American Thanksgiving.
They sacrifice
You
a
sit
moose.
down with family, have turkey, stuffing, gravy, mashed potatoes, beans, all the good stuff.
When do you sacrifice the moose?
See, they don't teach this thing in dumb American school.
Yeah.
They don't teach anything about this.
Yeah, well, they also teach you that Alaska is off the coast of California. So.
What, really? It is?
Hey, I lived in Alaska, and I thought I was like right along the equator for like at least 10 years.
Did you actually? Oh my god. Okay, we should probably introduce ourselves. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the host, editor, and other stuff on this weird show. And I'm joined today by...
Burndo1, and I'm the special guest coordinator and sometimes the other stuff guy as well.
I'm Flutterguy317, and I'm the art coordinator and handle art submissions.
I'm Pinky Dash, and I do whatever's left over. Normally the questions, but not always.
And today's going to be another awesome special episode because we are joined by someone who is equally as awesome as we are, and that is an awesome artist. And her name is AlienFirst, or Amanda Line, and she is with us on our show today.
Hello, and it's Lean, actually.
Lean.
Lean.
Oh, excuse me.
I usually go with my pronunciations with however Burn says it. That's not the way to do it. No offense,
okay,
Burn, but
in my
it's
defense,
just a pattern I'm noticing.
In my defense, I was raised German, so I before E is Line.
Yeah, that does make
hence,
sense.
Hence my name, Bernd. But anyway.
I was wondering about that.
Oh, that's how you
that
pronounce it.
didn't sound too Alaskan to me.
Yeah, I'd never heard. Anyways, so welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to call you Amanda because that sounds so much more professional.
Go for it.
But yeah, so you are an artist on DeviantArt that I'm not sure if a lot of people are going to know about because, no offense, but I didn't know about you until Burn came back and told us about you. I'd seen some of your work, some of your more shared stuff, but in general, I hadn't really heard about you. So why don't you just answer this like simple question that we asked all the people, like for people out there who don't know who are you and what do you do?
Cool. Well, I'm Amanda, AlienFirst. I draw in my spare time, and then I also draw for work. So I just draw a lot, and it's usually very scattered and many different things, which is why I don't think many people know me, because I usually draw something and then do something completely different, which probably makes many people angry.
People on DeviantArt are a little bit needy
Yeah,
sometimes.
do what I want you to
I
do.
always feel bad posting like My Little Pony art on Tumblr and then getting like 10 new followers, and I'm just going, you have no idea what's coming next, do you?
Well, you were talking about the fact that you also do this for your job. Do you mind telling us what you do for a living?
Yeah, I work for a mobile game company in Seattle, and I do 2D art for a couple of their games.
That's pretty cool.
That's
So
cool.
that's cool. So you work in the video game industry, which is really awesome because that's what I'm going to university for right now. And I also, as some people know, I'm quite heavily into games. So it's really awesome having someone on the show who not only is an awesome artist in terms of ponies, but also an awesome artist in terms of games as well.
Thank you.
Do you have any games in particular that you've worked on in the past that maybe people would know about, or does that kind of show people where you work, which might not be exact
Well,
best?
I think it's fine. Pretty much all of my art right now went into a game called Trade Nations, that is on the iPhone iOS system. So I worked on that
So
for
that's where
the
people can go
first
check it
year at the company, and now I'm moving on to something super secret.
Oh.
Nice.
I know that tone.
I think just about everyone here actually had seen your your Marvel Pony pieces. I think those got up to like the kind of the top page of the subreddit for My Little Pony quite a bit. I mean, I actually had seen your Marvel ponies, like their pictures, and had them in my favorites of DeviantArt. And then I actually ran into you at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, and I was just walking by down the aisle and saw on your table those cards, those Marvel like they were actually mailing cards that you had printed out of the little gloss Marvel ponies, and I'd seen it. And I was like, I know this. I know those. I know that artist. I have them in my DeviantArt account. And that was the first time I'd actually ever met you, was at Emerald City Comic Con. And like, that was the coolest thing ever. That was like, that made my day right there. Because I had gone to a convention just to, you know, see Tara Strong, and it was like a comic convention, and I hadn't had like a high interest in comics. And then I was walking by and, oh, hey, look, ponies.
Yeah, that was like my really first serious time doing an artist alley, so that was an experience.
So what's that like for?
What kind of experience?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Emerald City was, well, okay. I overheard people saying they didn't really do well, but at least for my first time, I was like, I'm making money. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yay.
You're not quite bitter yet.
No, not quite.
Let's see. So, did you have a lot of fun at that convention overall?
I did. It was, I mean, I didn't really actually, it was probably a good thing I didn't get to go look around, because just so many artists and so many cool things, and not enough money for it all.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Burn knows that feel. Burn knows that feel, because he was off at Everfree Northwest and came back with like hundreds of dollars of stuff.
So much
not
swag.
only for him, but like stuff for us, but us too. So.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Everfree Northwest, you were actually at that and had a table at that as well, weren't you?
I did. I got lucky because I missed out on the admission tickets, and so I got in on like the last time they released it and was able to share a table with someone.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Who'd you share a table with?
What was her? Oh shoot! What was her name? Spark
I don't
Absurd.
exactly remember.
She had yarn ponies.
Oh, I bet I have her card here.
I think you do.
Wait. I actually have it right here on my list.
So prepared.
Because I managed to grab all the business cards and everyone from the entire artist alley, because I mean that's what I really focused on. But her like store is called Equestria Knitting, and let's see if her name is on here. Oh no, it's totally not.
I think she just goes by Spark Absurd for the
Spark Absurd
for the My Little Pony stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you are interested in seeing her little she makes yarn hand knitted yarn like plushies and ponies. It's equestriaknitting.com, and you can check her out.
That's awesome.
She's actually she was really cool when I was chatting with you guys.
Yes, I was so afraid I was gonna end up with some like jerk or something, and she was the nicest person. So
yeah, she really was.
That's great.
That was lucky.
But speaking of posters and tons of things that I bought at Everfree Northwest, you actually had quite a few there. And I managed to buy quite a few years. I bought the three the little postcards with the Seattle ponies, with the cafe, with Rarity at the cafe, and then Applejack and Pinkie Pie at the market, and then there was one last one.
The two Pegasi at the
Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy at the Space Needle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the little ones. And I got you to sign them, and they're super awesome. They're some of my favorites that I managed to get from the convention. But I also bought a really large poster print of your Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy poster with like Rainbow Dash flying around the Space Needle and Fluttershy hiding in it. And I managed to get it signed by a whole bunch of people from EFR, the network that we're on, like Final Draft and
Nash.
Okay, Soxy, One Trick, Nash. Let me just fill in like our bosses for you.
Yeah.
No, but like Nash and Heatwave and everyone wasn't there. It was
Soxy.
Just pick one more name, dude.
Wait.
All the guys behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
Burned obviously Everfree Northwest was like his splurge, so he went out to a lot of artist alleys, grabbed them. We actually had a previous episode where he got some sketches done for us and revealed them on an episode, which is really awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you made these specifically for Everfree Northwest, right? These three kind of poster.
I did.
Mm-hmm. So they're pretty interesting, especially the art style that you've got them in. And throughout your entire gallery, you've got kind of a plethora of different art styles, ranging from, kind of the cartoony, cel-shadedness of your Marvel ponies to the almost watercolor of your recent works, and you've also got sketches, and then these Seattle ones, which look more show accurate in their style. Can you explain, like, what's the thought behind these different styles? Is it just you want to try out different things, or?
Yeah, mostly it's just me wanting to try out different things. I mean, ideally, it's like I love doing concept art, as pretty much every other artist does that wants to get into games. So, I mean, my goal is just try and do as many different styles as I possibly can. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Do you have any like personal favorite styles or that you've tried so far?
I really adore like Adventure Time style, which I've done quite a few things on that. Like there was fan art for Sword and Sorcery and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that I did in Adventure Time style, just because it's so simple and can be done quite quickly.
Is it bad that I've never seen that show?
No, I haven't seen much of that show either. It's a pretty popular show, but
So I've heard, but I've never actually watched it.
The thing is, if you're outside of the U.S., it's kind of hard to see it. I had to see it when I was down in L.A. last December, so.
Okay.
Well, shortly ago, I sat down and watched the entire thing, season 1 and 2, and I loved every second of it.
The art's pretty interesting in that show as well. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of matches just kind of like the simplicity of My Little Pony. I'm not sure if anybody else agrees with that, but it's probably because I haven't seen too many episodes of it. But
the simplicity kind of matches up, but I mean, it's more of a traditional art style, and then it's way more comic-y, and it transfers over well into a comic book, which I think was where it started.
Okay, fair enough.
So let's talk about your most famous pieces, or at least, quote unquote famous. I'm using finger quotes, but that's not going to help in an audio podcast. So you had these 6 pieces where you had Marvel ponies, where you had things ranging from Iron Mare with Rainbow Dashes as Iron Man, all the way up to, Fluttershy as Batman and other things like that. Do you want to explain a little bit about what these pieces are and how you got into doing them?
Yeah, when I first was kind of planning out the Emerald City Comic Con, I knew I wanted to have something like made for that. So, and I don't know why I ended up going with ponies. I can't exactly remember. I think it was just because I was watching it a lot at the time. But, and I really love crossovers. So I was like, hey, it's a comic book convention. Let's do that with ponies.
Yay.
That's perfect.
Well, then we definitely have something in common.
Burns a huge fan of crossovers.
That's why I snagged them as soon as I saw them.
I am a far more crossover nut than I probably have any right to be.
Hey, crossovers are cool.
So just to show them on the screen, we've got Iron Mare, which is Rainbow Dash as Iron Man. We have Apple Thor, which is Applejack as Thor. Catmare, which is obviously Rarity as
Batman.
Catwoman. Yeah, Batman, Bat Bunny, and Robin Shy. So that's, I mean, you can probably fill in the blanks there.
You can tell that I stopped caring about the names.
Why does Angel Bunny get to be the good one? I hate Angel Bunny.
Oh, you were so negative. You were so
He's
negative.
the Dark Knight.
He's such a...
He's the hero Equestria needs.
But not the one who deserves.
That's perfect.
Oh, man.
I like the scene where Angel Bunny gets kicked. It was funny.
You're just depressed. Let's move on.
Well,
Twilight
that's-
Strange. Twilight Strange. So Twilight Sparkle, dressed up as Doctor Strange, of course. And then Harley Pie, which is just perfect. I don't know what it is.
Right.
about those.
That's great.
It's just
It
great.
fits quite
The
perfectly.
expression, the two personalities mixed together, it's just fantastic. So those are all 6, so that people can see them on the screen. I'll put those on the screen. So you had an inspiration for that to do it for Emerald City Comic Con. Have you had any other kinds of crossovers in mind that you wanted to do with ponies, or was that kind of the only one that you had in mind?
Honestly, pretty much everything I'm a fan of, I would love to draw as ponies at some point.
Well, I'm sure we'd all love to see it, and we know our fans would too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I did a Dragon Age character as a pony, like, way back, and then I did Shadowmere from Skyrim.
Right, yeah.
In the pony style. And there's, like, like, I would love to go and make the Borderlands characters as ponies right now, just because I
Fantastic.
am obsessed with that right now.
That would be pretty
So
great.
good.
That'd be amazing.
Pixel
I don't know
characters,
any
that-
of these things.
You need to
Diamond
get
ponies.
into the future, okay? You need to step into 2012.
Yeah.
I've got the first Borderlands, but I've only played 4 hours of it.
Borderlands 2.
When
In stores
was
now.
that made? When I was in like...
Oh, goodness. That's a few years old now.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we're totally not sponsored by Borderlands or anything.
No, not at all.
We should be.
Go buy
That'd be
it.
amazing.
Right now, I should be.
So, Amanda, do
Yeah.
you have a favorite Marvel character that you were doing? Or that you've made?
Goodness. I think, well, I don't know. I think my favorite out of that bunch is probably Rarity, just because I adore Rarity. But then again, I think probably the best one probably would be Thor, just because Applejack came out perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking through these, and as you were coming up with your decision, I was like, oh, I should probably think of what my favorite would be, and I went through, and I was like, man, Pinkie Pie as Harley Quinn was pretty awesome, but you know,
she fits Harley Quinn perfectly. So.
Gotta go with the classic Iron Mare, and it's like, no, there's Applejack. It's like they're all really awesome pieces of art. And what's really interesting is what programs did you use for this? Because not to be picky or anything, but we're vector artists, so we're all kind of very detail orientated, and I know these aren't exactly the highest in resolution. So what kind of program did you use? It's obviously not a vector program.
No, I drew the line art on paper and inked it by hand, and then scanned it in and colored them in Photoshop.
Oh.
Okay, so you used
Very
Photoshop
cool.
for that. That's interesting.
And
Well, it's got kind of like a gritty feel to it. It's a little bit, the lines aren't perfect, which is actually kind of nice to see. It makes it look a little bit more,
comic-y.
I don't know,
Hand,
natural.
it makes it look hand drawn
Right.
rather than
Yeah.
computer done.
Absolutely.
Like hand done digitally, which actually is really cool. And also you mentioned that the Applejack one is your favorite. Is actually there's something that really stands out to it that makes it one of my favorites among all the others. If you look at each one of the 6 pieces, Applejack is the only one who has this awesome blue outline to her. In blue sheen on all her hair and her armor, her hammer, and her legs, where the light from the background actually hits her and hits her body and hits her features and creates that kind of highlight. I thought that was really cool and really made her stand out because it gave that feeling that there's actually lightning in the background, light to the lightning in her power. But I mean, if you go and look at Rainbow Dash or some of the others, they don't really have that sheen on them, so it really makes Applejack pop. And I thought that was cool, feature artistically.
Shoot, now I'm trying to remember. It's wait, was I meaning to do that with all the others? I just forgot.
It's not always. It doesn't always need to be intentional. It's something I've learned over the years. Is even subconsciously our brains can kind of put that in, and it doesn't mean just because you didn't mean to doesn't mean it's not at the same time really awesome or.
Yeah, because Thor summons lightning from his hammer, so it's kind of cool because the background is actually not supposed to be in the foreground, so the background's behind it, but the only reason that your mind might trick you to think that lightning in the background is what's all around is that glow or sheen coming from her hammer, hitting all of our other features.
I teach an art class on the weekends, and one of the pieces of advice I give to the kids, it's if it's cool and someone comments on it and you didn't mean it, lie and say it
Say
was
you meant it.
exactly what you wanted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then remember that in the future.
Yes, so that is exactly what I intended.
So you actually do teach an art class? That's really cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, it's just an hour-long art class I teach on the weekends with a group of, goodness, I think there's 10 kids now, which is terrifying.
What's their age group?
I think it was supposed to be 14 to 18 because it was a manga themed class, except I kind of collected these younger kids, so I have a range of 12 to 18.
Cool.
And of course they're all fans of the same thing, so they all get along and it doesn't matter.
Nice.
That's fun.
Now, normally I'm not about indoctrination, but push the ponies.
Yeah.
You gotta do that.
They are, pretty much all of them are pony fans.
That's
Oh,
nice.
there you go. So that must be one fun hour for your weekend.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned one day, it's maybe I'll let you guys draw ponies, and they're going, well, I'm gonna make you draw something really hard first.
and that's when you That's when you take them at the end of the class and you scan them and you upload them as your own.
That's awful.
Wow, Pinky
I'm
Dash.
I'm not that mean of a person.
I have to say that latest one you've uploaded, the Wee Little Princesses sketch, is amazing.
Because you say you do everything by hand and you sketch it in and then you go over it digitally after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have your traditionally little sketched piece of Wee Little Princesses, and we can put that on the screen, but it's absolutely
It is so
gorgeous.
cute.
Really.
Yeah, I was still on a pony high after Everfree, so something had to get drawn.
I've noticed that
Yeah.
you've actually touched on a couple of different styles recently. After we talked a little bit about how you have that show accurate thing for Everfree Northwest, but afterwards you kind of went into this kind of newer style where it looks like you've gone kind of more hand-drawn and less digital. So for example, we have this piece called Party Pony, which is Pinkie Pie, a little bit stylistic. You got the hooves and stuff like that, but it looks almost like from afar like a watercolor or something with like markers. Is that what you
I
used?
think it's pens, isn't it?
Yeah, that was Copic markers.
Okay.
Oh. Mm.
So you're experimenting a little bit with the styles there. You've got another piece, another sketch called Cadence, which is fantastic, and I'm like the only person on the entire planet that's a fan of Cadence. So
Hey, I run a group about Cadence.
fair enough.
The style of Cadence
enough.
almost transfers over to like a manga style. Is that kind of what you had in mind, or?
I think so. It was, I know I did her after the vinyl scratch that was kind of in the same style, but done in marker. So it was mostly just wanting to see about doing a more traditionally styled unicorn. And
Right.
of course I love swoofy hair. So, swoofy hair.
It's fantastic.
It is quite.
I mean, it's a bit of a painted vector. Don't get me wrong. It's a bit of a painted vector, but no, it looks fantastic, and it's so interesting to see because usually what you can do with an artist is you can see a picture and you can kind of pick it out by their little tendencies in the art style and
You
say
can tell
this is
who's
this
who.
kind of artist. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you do these diverse styles, but it's really interesting to see an artist that can kind of break free from traditional. The traditional way of doing things and trying a lot of different styles. And I don't think if someone saw your Cadence sketch, I don't think they would link that to the Marvel ponies. And I don't know, some people would find that bad because they want their own style, but I think it's really, really interesting to be able to do a lot of different things. Were you intending to kind of do that, or?
I adore comments like that because I don't know. I like being able to do things completely differently. Yeah, I don't know. It gets back to the fact that I really love doing concept art, and to be a really good concept artist, you pretty much have to know everything and be able to do things in multiple styles.
There's something about being a jack of all trades. Over the last 4 years that I've been on the internet, in quotation marks, that's almost 5 years now, jeez. Something that I really like to do was take a little bit of everything and try it out, and just to see how it works in the basic levels. And so, that's how I got into like video editing and, art and audio editing and a bunch of these different things, music creation, all the little stuff. Like if you think of little stuff that bronies have made, I've gotten a little piece of everything to know at least the basics of how it works. And I find it really interesting to kind of be like a jack of all trades, to be able to do a bunch of different things because it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really get bored.
Absolutely.
Looking through your gallery, you've got like so many different styles. You've got some sort of unfinished things, some digital things, some sketches. Do you have a favorite sort of thing that you like doing? Like if you make a sketch and it's awesome, do you just like leaving it as a sketch, or do you prefer to finish them? So to speak?
It's kind of a toss up. I get scared when I really adore a sketch because then I really do want to finish it. But I know I'm just gonna mess it up horribly with ink or something, and I'll lose whatever I like about the sketch. So if it's something I feel really strongly about as a sketch, I'll scan it and probably try and finish it in Photoshop so I still have that sketch.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
No, I definitely know that feeling when you get like a good sketch down. You don't want to do anything with it because you're like, well, the sketch is good enough. Why can't I just use this?
Oh yes, rainbow plasma sketches.
Oh no.
Oh, boy. Let's bring this up again.
Moving on. Anyway.
Good times.
So
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Flurry.
how would you basically go about maybe trying a different style if you haven't tried it before? Like, do you go and look for inspiration and like from other artists, or do you just...
I get as many pictures of the style I'm going for as I possibly can have on my computer screen at one time.
Nice.
And then I just go at it until I get mad and have to quit for a while.
Oh yeah, I know what that's like.
It's the best way to do things.
But you come back and you eventually get it down.
I eventually get it in some way or another.
Yeah, see, that's where I fail. I just don't come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned being, if you want to be good at concept art, there's a few things you have to do, especially being able to go into very, like, diverse, unique styles and, like, a large amount of them. Is there anything else that goes into being, like, good at making concept art or being a good concept artist?
Well, okay. Whatever I say is pretty much from my understanding, and it's probably not exactly accurate, but it's my personal goal for it. Is to, well, be able to do traditional artwork and digital artwork both equally well, and be able to like intermingle that, I guess. And I've been told by numerous instructors back at school, it was like, if you want to be a good concept artist, know everything. And just like different era styles, historical art, which my art history is pretty terrible now. But yeah, and yeah, I whenever I think of concept art, I kind of go back to looking at Deus Ex, the new game that came out, because their style, if anyone has the opportunity to look it up, because their style is so unified and spot on, and they draw it, you can tell like where they draw their inspiration from, but it's just this cohesive whole that is beautiful and wonderful and is pretty much everything I would want to be doing.
Very cool.
I don't know what Juice X is either.
Oh, yeah, Deus Ex. It was
okay.
Deus Ex Human Revolution. It was a new game that came out. Their art style is gorgeous.
I think my fat man plays it, but I don't know.
Fantastic game. we're gonna. It's just me and her just like going back and forth about video games. We're not gonna start because it's gonna go on for the next hour.
Oh yeah, I could do that all day.
I'm pretty sure I'm seeing stuff on her DeviantArt page about Mass Effect, and that's just a 6-hour conversation down the road. Let's just not go there.
All the pony crossovers.
Please,
Yes, exactly.
dear God, I would pay you so much money for a Mass Effect crossover.
That would be amazing.
Fantastic. If you give me a pony Garrus, okay?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Pay you
and
so much
most likely
money.
terrifying.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Derpy is my favorite pony.
Amazing.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're just smiling over in the corner, like
Yep,
nodding.
that's
like,
what I'm doing.
You're like the foreign guy, the foreign exchange student. There's
He
a
is
joke
foreign.
that said.
I am foreign.
You are the foreign. You're literally the foreign exchange student. Everybody's
Technically,
laughing, and he's just like
In
smiling
this
and nodding.
country, you're considered a foreigner.
Yeah, that's right. Your money's a funny color.
But-
Plasma.
But he's got a Thanksgiving too.
See, no, I don't.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Okay, no, I'm looking at something else on your DeviantArt page, and it's kind of off topic, but I sort of want to talk about it because it's one of my favorite things ever.
Because we totally haven't gone off topic yet.
By the way, congratulations on getting married soon.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at your Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy wedding invites, and
Yes.
they are incredible. I have to
Thank
say.
you.
It's a fantastic example of the kind of art you were talking about, with the kind of more simplistic style.
Yeah.
Kind of goofy, cartoony style. It's great.
It's also like my favorite book in existence.
Yes, it is. It's a thing my fiance and I are both absolutely crazy for, so.
I'm actually rereading it again as we speak.
As we speak.
Yes.
Wait, we're doing a podcast right now. Okay, you're not allowed to do that
I
as
can
we speak.
multitask.
Multitasking.
That is not allowed. I'm gonna veto that. Okay.
He's not even doing art.
I know. I'm not even making a vector at the time.
Yeah, I know. You're really bad at doing that. Doing stuff while we're recording the podcast. Oh well, Pinky.
Oh, you bore me.
Pinky Dash. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Ouch. So much
Gonna-
love here. So much
I'm
love.
just gonna ignore you from now on. Great.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, anyway, moving on. Ignore me now.
Vern, you wanted to talk to her a little bit about the style that she had in one of her earlier pieces of Rainbow Dash.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was looking at the wedding invitations and they were adorable. I was actually, quick question. The other invitation, the save the date wedding card, that cartoon style for you and your husband to be. What is that? Is that a style for a cartoon? Right now?
I was using Gravity Falls as a style
right.
reference for that one.
Yeah, I kind of recognized it and it was cute.
It's another thing I've heard of but never seen.
I have yet to watch it. I think
It's pretty glorious.
That's pretty high praise there. We're glorious here.
Well, what I was talking about earlier, or wanted to mention, was on one of your older pieces. I think it is October 8th, 2011 is when you uploaded DeviantArt. It's Rainbow Dash, like flying in Cloudsdale, and is really cute. It was adorable. I remember you had it on your table at Emerald City Comic Con. And I was just going to ask you about the style because it's a different style choice than if you look at your Seattle Ponies Part 1 that you did for Everfree, for Everfree Northwest. It has more of like a shaded and less show-accurate feel, and it has shadows to all the wings, and like the wings are really rounded and feathered, to where the Seattle Ponies one, it's really show-accurate, and then the background has no strokes to it, which is exactly like the Milo Pony style, which is really traditional. And I was just going to ask you a little bit about that style choice, or what went in, what were you aiming for with the older piece in comparison to the newer one?
Yeah, I think the older one was, I think that was one of the first few ponies I drew. I think before that it was mostly humanized ponies, but I think it started off with me wanting to do the show accurate style, but I think I remember getting frustrated with just the line width and then just having the flat colors, and I didn't feel it was complete. So then I just kind of went, whatever, let's just throw some of my stuff in there and make the line work thicker and throw in some shading. So I feel that it's more complete. And
well, it turned out really cute.
Yeah.
Thank you. Whereas the Seattle ones were made with the express purpose in mind to have them be as show accurate as I could make them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, there's definitely that feel.
So
there's something interesting in your gallery that you recently made, which kind of ties back to something that we had a couple of episodes ago. You did kind of an exchange with KDW.
Yes.
KDW made me something, and it's so cool.
Fantastic artist that we had.
Oh,
wow. When Bernd was off at Everfree Northwest, we did a whole episode where he came back and surprised us with gifts on the episode that we aired, and one of them was by KDW for Pinky Dash. She did a sketch for him that was, holy cow, amazing. And she's kind of really come out of nowhere, at least to us, where we have never heard of this person before, and she comes out of nowhere and does this fantastic work. How do you know her? And was it just through Everfree Northwest, or?
No, I've actually followed her for quite a while now. I think, like, back in, like 2008 or 2009, I actually commissioned her at SakuraCon.
Oh, wow.
So I have a Copic piece from her of one of my original characters from way back when. And so
Nice.
I've just kind of followed her, and she gave me advice on caring for my new bunny because she has two. And, and then I think I made a comment on the forums when she was advertising for the badges. I was like, why do I have no money? And so she offered to do an art trade for one. And I was like, yes, I will draw you ponies and bunnies for artwork, of course.
That's awesome.
That's a great art trade.
Yeah, no, at Everfree Northwest, I walked by her booth and I fell in love with her art style. I managed to buy a traditionally hand-done derpy by her that's framed, and it's adorable. And I got Pinky Dash's OC commissioned by her as well, because all of her art style was just so adorable, and I know Pinky Dash loves things adorable. And actually, I can link that to you in the Skype chat, and you can look at it if you'd like.
Right, yeah. We need to get that on the screen. Yeah, in case you guys haven't seen the episode, or if you've forgotten, this is the one that was done for Pinky Dash. Absolutely fantastic. We need to get KDW on the show, because even though she's obviously not a pony exclusive artist, and we try to get people from a variety of different places. For example, we've got Amanda on today, who is not exclusively pony, but, fantastic artists that we want to feature on the show, and KDW is definitely up there. It just came out of nowhere. It's amazing how these artists are just kind of like popping up out of the woodwork. Fantastic artists who have years of experience, but they're just happening to try pony stuff. More people should do that. They're fantastic.
I mean, it's almost sad though that we kind of keep this, tunnel vision for just pony art or stuff that we find like matches with like our passion for ponies. Because like there are all these amazing artists out there. It's just like we've never heard of them except when they kind of try to reach out to this like small community that we've created. But it's really cool to be able to see all these artists, like especially you included, Amanda, that like I would have never known about or never seen any of your pieces with, or not have you been like reaching out to go to conventions or something like that.
Without all that happening. But Bern, you got to realize, we could, in theory, expand to do all of this other, huge art show, but we're sitting in the wading pool of art. The water's about up to our knees, and you're saying, man, we can swim across the ocean. No problem. Look at this water. You think water can get me? No problem. No, we would die. I would die. You guys would be fine. I would die. No.
Is that because in Canada? The the water is ice, and you don't need to swim?
So we can walk across. When water's unfrozen, we
so
actually
you wouldn't
freak out. We've reached the Canadian part of the podcast.
I'm close to Canada.
A lot of people actually, Burned and Flutterguy are both like pretty close to the Canadian border.
I'm close to Canada.
You're nowhere close to Canada. Australia's nowhere close to Canada. It's closer going south than it is north.
Yes,
That should tell you something.
Probably.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here because
Go for it.
this is something to do with Canada, and we have to be talking about Canada right now. But today, we're recording this. It's October 12th. It was snowing today. No
Really?
joke. In Ottawa, Canada, it was freaking snowing today.
It
I
was
am not
snowing
happy.
today as well in Australia.
I am not happy. It should not be snowing in the middle of October.
It's also the 13th. Not the
It is
12th.
Wait,
No,
it is?
forget you. You're a deadhead.
I'm in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to art.
Because we are
enough
a
about
show
Canada.
about art.
Enough about Canada. So, is there anything else that you'd like to mention? Because we're getting kind of close to the end here. We've gone through a lot of your pieces here. Is there anything else that you'd like to kind of mention? Maybe stuff that you want to promote that you're doing in the future. Any conventions that you're going out to?
Well, I hope to be at Everfree next year.
Yay.
I'm
We're-
just kind of terrified about knowing of it too late and completely missing out on it. But I will be at Emerald City Comic Con. I do have that table confirmed.
Just
It
kind of
was-
planning stuff within Seattle itself.
Yeah, I really don't make enough to actually warrant traveling elsewhere. I would love to, but it's just not in the cards.
Yeah, for sure.
That and I work full time too, so
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to just take a week off to go to a convention somewhere else.
yeah. I think August was like crazy because I had Everfree, Geek Girl Con, and then I attended PAX. So work
Oh, yeah.
was like, guys, I'm gonna be gone Fridays for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to. I'm a university student, so I'm basically just like saving, like throwing pennies into a little jar so I can go out to Everfree after the trip that I've planned in March. So, yeah,
Yep.
it's a bit of a pain, and especially there's priorities that come into stake, and not everyone wants to travel to kind of see a pony convention. Like if I didn't have this show, there's no way in heck I'd be traveling to do it. But we're planning on probably coming out to Everfree Northwest, but. If not for that, I would definitely stay within kind of my own city and be like, you should come to me.
Do
Exactly.
you plan on trying to do Everfree Northwest next year in July?
I think she
Wait,
already
who?
said that.
What?
You, Amanda.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah, I did say
See?
that.
Yeah, she said that.
I
Sorry.
Should've
intend
said.
to do my best to try. So I have the Twitter open a lot, being like, when are you going to announce this?
Right. when they have the
I
tables on.
have
Nice.
kind of bad luck because SakuraCon, their artist alley sells out in literally like 30 seconds. So I am very wary.
Yeah, the conventions are pretty serious. I've had it out to a few video game conventions, and those are huge. And like, you have to get your tickets like within the first couple of days because they're just insane. But the pony conventions are getting bigger and bigger each year, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more on the ball each year as it goes up because it'll become more and more popular. Sell it faster.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Well, do
crazy
you
the
guys have
amount of-
anything else to ask her?
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that you do a class. Is there any like tips or hints for aspiring artists that you would kind of like to share with us?
It's like, wait, what do I beat into their heads pretty much every day? I guess it's well, I mean, with the art class, it's a little bit hard because people draw differently. I mean, people think differently. I think in shapes, which is why My Little Pony is very fun for me, because it's all just these very simple shapes that are put together. And then I have I have a couple kids in the class that think more in like silhouette or just like this line, like the outside line. So it's mostly just, it's like, try to see what natural way you draw in, and just try and tailor learning to that, because then, at least in my opinion, it's like you're a happier person because you're not trying to shoehorn in how someone else draws to fit like what you're doing. And I think it's just a little easier to learn.
Huh.
That's fantastic advice, because usually we kind of get you know, there's the standard practice, and it's kind of what we preach on the show. And, you know, you're not going to get better at something if you don't practice it. But, you know, that's good. We finally got someone on the show who's like, yeah, something different than practice. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, no, that's awesome advice. My art teacher that I have currently right now says kind of something similar. He uses negative space whenever he draws or wants to get the outline of whatever he's doing, and he's a painter by trade, so he'll always usually start in by painting in the negative space of his image to get like the outlines and like where things match up and things like that. And that's how he draws. That's how he learns to draw, rather than drawing the subject first itself.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if you're a painter, that totally works. Whereas me, it's like I do the line work and the shapes, and then you throw paint at me, and I'm like, what do I do with this? I don't know.
It's really interesting because, especially within our community, we're vectors, and, you know, we kind of use that same style. We're saying, you know, if you are, if you have this kind of personality, we think you'd match vectoring better, just kind of based on what we've come up with. And we had this question before, and I'm not exactly sure how to answer it. Maybe we can all kind of come together and answer this. But we mentioned before that, you know, we think vectors are more mathematical, and, you know, for people who are a little bit more into, like, perfectionism. And somebody asked, like, what makes vectors so, you know, mathematical? And I kind of wanted to answer to that. I'm not exactly sure how to. But it's kind of it's the same concept where, you know, you just think differently about things. And so some people will be able to pick up vectors immediately because that's just the way they think, whereas other people are much more in tune with, say, painting or digital art.
Drawing in a more traditional style.
Right.
Yeah, and I think like people get too honed in on, oh, you need to do it this way, and it's like, well, that might not mesh with just how this person naturally thinks. So.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you're following a lot of great artists that you want to see, like, I want to draw like that. But, you know, everyone has their own style. They have to learn their own style. I know,
it's like, maybe you don't draw like that, and you just have to deal with it.
You can be good in a completely different way.
Yeah. And, I mean, I only realized that in my final year in college, when I finally got comfortable with what I was doing. It was like, I draw this way. This other guy's awesome, but I don't draw that way. And he probably can't draw the way I do, so hey.
Yeah,
that's really good advice.
And then there's me, you just can't draw at all.
I just wanted to answer the vectoring question really quick, and the reason why I thought it was more mathematical and kind of precise is because when you're drawing something, like if you just pick up a pencil and you start doing stuff on a page, chances are you're going to be, it's very flowy, it's very you know, rough, and you kind of get a feel for it. Whereas in vectoring, it's like, you know, we're making a circle here, and then we're adding this shape onto there, and it's all about, you know, trying to get things down to like matching. You know, there's some people out there who are more artistic with their vectors, but for the most part,
to kind of help you, vectoring is very point precise. I mean, everything has to be here. It has to be a certain way. It has to be all the same. It has to match up and like hide underneath each other, and you're very much piecing it together, and you're piecing it with very exact lines and angles, and everything is basically, you're making it through a computer program. You're making it with something helping you make these shapes and make them like absolutely perfect. and everything is, like a coded line, placing a point here and having it, whereas like sketching, the most precise thing that you do is choosing your final line from, like, say, an undersketch or something. But it's very more free-flowing, and you have a lot more open-endedness when you're trying to do something like a sketch.
Yeah, when we say mathematical, we don't literally mean like, so point X is going to be at 330 pixels by 2.
Even though that's exactly what a vector
That's
is.
exactly what.
Well, no, I know,
vector
but like
is.
we're not specifically saying that. The program's saying that, but we're not specifically saying. So
Wait,
you know,
you don't-
when we
you
say
don't vector like
mathematical, we
that?
don't literally mean it. But
You don't vector by putting in equations.
what
is wrong
Yeah, vectoring's very more cold and calculated, and it's very much a practice that you do within a program, making your angles and shapes and edges and lines, and like you're actually physically working this program with all of the dedicated like thickness to strokes and things like that. And there's a trade that you have to learn about how to make vectors in whatever user interface that you're using, whether it's Inkscape or Photoshop or whatever, or Illustrator for Rainbow Plasma. But for traditional art, I mean, it's all working with your hands. It's working, more with your mind. Your only user interface is yourself. So
okay,
there's a lot more freedom there.
So Flutter Guy,
That's where the mathematical
you're gonna put your hand around his mouth, and I've got the keys to the cage. And Pinky Dash, you open the door, and you're gonna push him in.
No.
And we're gonna lock the
I
cage.
refuse.
And
Wait, why does Pinky Dash get to push him in?
Pinky Dash is on my side.
Okay,
That's
back
right.
in your cage.
I'll be in the cage with Burn.
The rambling is getting suddenly out of control. So, okay, what I'd
Does
like to
anyone
do
else
is
listening to this have pity for me?
no. There's no pity.
I'm an innocent bystander.
You're a part of this now.
And on
By
that
the way,
note,
You're an accomplice.
By the way, I like that the only user interface is yourself. It's deep. It's
yeah,
deep.
that is.
Anyways, we'd
good
like to
advice.
thank you for coming on the show. Is there any way that people can contact you? We've got your DeviantArt, obviously, but there's anything else? You mentioned a Tumblr.
Oh yeah, my DeviantArt, my website, which is ryuart.com, ryuuart.com, and that actually links to my Tumblr, my Twitter. I am everywhere.
Okay, so that's
Nice.
kind of like a cool, like, collective place to link to kind of access everything.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I am AlienFirst on Twitter and Tumblr and DeviantArt, so
I'm gonna have to follow you on Twitter.
I don't know,
Nice.
I talk about the most random stuff.
So
That's
does,
the best kind of Twitter.
so does
I was
everyone,
looking
yeah.
at my follower count yesterday and I'm going, why do I have actual legitimate people following me? What are you doing?
Well, now you have +4.
And probably
Nice.
plus a lot more. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. You were fantastic, and we had a great time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, we're just
It was
going
our
to do our
pleasure.
little outro stuff. Pinky Dash, what do we have?
Oh, we're talking to me. We're talking to me again. Okay. So we've got a few ways you can contact us, as per the same as every week. We have a DeviantArt page, which is what's that name again? Cutie Art Crusaders .deviantart.com. No hyphens between that, so it's Cutie Art Crusaders, no hyphens. There's a second group with hyphens, and it just causes problems. But
Look,
there you
okay, it'll be on the screen.
Yeah.
cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com. Moving on.
That one.
Next one.
moving on, we also have an email, which is cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. That is a place to go if you want to send us things like if you have any questions for us to ask to either our guests or to just us in general about anything we're doing every week.
Art
or-
submissions, things like that.
or
No
art
hyphens as
submissions,
well.
yeah. No hyphens, yeah. So it's just one way.
Yeah,
to get
so
it.
send us in questions, because if we're not, then Pinky Dash is going to have to come up with the questions, and they're going to be weird. Strangely personal.
Especially after
So
this
send us in
episode.
questions.
What color underwear are you wearing this week?
Whoa.
That's
I actually had to check. I didn't remember. Wait, this week? Sorry, this week? You mean today, right?
It's
Wait.
Australia is a different place. Moving right along. We also have a Twitter page, Rain Plasma, if you'd like to say that.
Oh, I see how that is. Our Twitter is
allowed to
at
talk
Cutie
anymore.
Art Crusade. It's not at Cutie Art Crusaders, because Twitter won't let us have a long name, but it's at
Yep.
Cutie Art Crusade. That's where you can go for any up-to-the-minute
No
updates
hyphens.
and
Yep.
little tidbits like that. I run it, so I usually pop on there and will
So
occasionally
it's going
say
to be
some weird
void
stuff.
and completely empty of content.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, you're so
Anyways,
cynical
moving on to the
today.
Facebook. Speaking of
And-
void and empty of content, moving on to the Facebook.
Hey.
Hey, we get people on paper.
This is
we have
Flutterguy's turn.
a Facebook, by the way. It's Facebook.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. I think
We've
or
been
just
getting
search
a
for us.
lot of people liking it, and it's really awesome because you guys have an amazing amount of
Cojones.
Yeah, we're just gonna go there because I could never do that with
And
my Facebook. But good job, guys.
Also, something a little new that I think we should probably start doing, and go ahead and go over it. But someone asked if they could do this. But on our YouTube comments on Everfree Radio, the YouTube channel for Everfree Radio, that's just youtube.com/Everfree Radio. For their channel, if you have any comments on our YouTube video, if you're watching this from there, I will check the comments in our YouTube videos every week, and I will respond to them as best I can. So if you have any future artists or any kind of future themes or any kind of recommendations like that, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and we'll check those as well.
And to be fair, if you want to ask some questions over Twitter, or if you want to ask some questions on the YouTube comments, the way that's guaranteed for you to get your question to us and that we'll see it is through the email. But if you seriously can't send us an email, or you're not bothered to, and you just want to send me a tweet really quick, then feel free to do that, and I might see that as well in YouTube comments as well.
I also check the DeviantArt page a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in a bunch of places, so you'll find us. If you've already come here and found us, then you're going to be able to find us elsewhere. Also, one last thing, because he hasn't been mentioned in a couple weeks, but again, we have the background music made by the percussion brony. I got his name right this time. And we'll set up a link for that. It's youtube.com/thepercussionbrony, and he does a lot of our background music, which is really awesome. And
It's
it does
amazing.
All of
some
that
more.
background music.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah.
All right, well, that should be everything for this week. Thanks again for everyone to come out to the live stream or watching the YouTube video. Whoever is watching, no matter how you do it, you're awesome. Once
Yes.
again, I'd like to thank
Wait,
Amanda
wait,
AlienFirst for
wait,
coming
wait,
on. You actually just interrupt me, thanking the guest.
Yes. Do we have a theme for next week?
We don't have a theme for next week, and why is that burned?
We do not have a theme for next week because we have another special guest. Our special guest for next week is Pixel Kitties.
Wow. So, send us questions if you want to ask questions for Pixel Kitties.
Yeah. You mentioned her previously on the podcast, and we're going to have her on next week. So that's going to be awesome. So make sure to come by next week for an interview with Pixel Kitties. Speaking of guests that aren't being ignored, Amanda, AlienFirst, thanks again for coming on. You were fantastic.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
I would again like to thank you personally. At Emerald City Comic Con, you by far made my con with your little table of ponies that I couldn't find anywhere else, and it was really awesome to see you again at Everfree Northwest and be able to chat with you there as well.
Yay! Thank you.
So,
I've been really excited that people have actually recognized my stuff.
I know.
follow you.
It was really awesome that I got really excited when you contacted me wanting to be on our show. You have been the first individual who has actually been interested in being on our show without me having to ask them, so thank you for that.
And for that, we give you a prize. No, we don't have a prize. Sorry. There's no prize. The prize is hopefully more people will see the show and come out and say hi to you at conventions. So
The prize is our love.
The prize is us.
Oh, it's such a small prize. Such a small prize.
But still heartfelt.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, thank you guys for watching again, and that should be everything. So, without further ado, my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Burned01.
I'm Flutterguy317.
I'm Pinky Dash.
And I'm AlienFirst.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Maybe.
Bye.
Bye.